Well, here's an interesting start to this video. Now, for some reason, this sort of video has been on my bucket list as the sort of video that I've always wanted to take. And you'll see why. A little unusual, as you can see what we're looking at. Now, we're in Japan, so things are a little different here. This is a normal loo, and well, you know, I've often heard all these wonderful things about Japanese loos, and so here we go. Now this flush appears to have, I guess they're not all going to be like this. They're going to be similar though. So you can either go up, you can pull it up, or push it, and I guess that's two different things. And I guess that's the same as what I'm used to. You have when you kind of flush the loo. You have a choice of two. You can do like I don't know, a full flush or a half flush. I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, now this one here, on some of them they've got like a control panel on one side. So when you're sitting there, you've got the control panel next to you that you use your left or right hand to operate. I'm not sure what that all means. Maybe that's just on or off, and you can see it's plugged in back there. Look, you see all the wires. Okay, and here it's plugged in. I'm guessing that you can get one of these back home if you want. Just have to figure out some wiring, I suppose. Anyway, okay, so this one does not have the control panel either side. It has the control panel on the wall, and here it is. Now above it you have the English instructions, more or less. Okay, so this little picture here, this is supposed to be one's bottom, because this one is the rear spray. So what happens? Okay, let's lift this up. I don't think you can see it, and for obvious reasons I can't actually demonstrate it. I'm guessing that this is a sensor that senses. Maybe I can. I put my hand there. Okay, how do I do this holding the phone at the same time? Okay, if I put my hand there and operate the rear spray switch, let's see if I can get it to, well, let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh, I heard it. There. Oh, holy moly. Shit. Okay. Oh, God, got wet. Oh dear. Okay. Well, you can see what happened, right? You press the rear spray switch because it thought that, somebody's sitting there. Okay, this thing came out, you saw it, right? It came out and it sprayed. And now that tube thing doesn't move, and so what you have to do is move yourself to have the spray sprayed onto the part of your anatomy that you would like to be sprayed upon. Anyway, so that's that. Now, I'm afraid I was going to do the same with this. This one here says bidet, right? You can see the picture there. And this is the actual control here. So if I press this now, nothing should happen because it doesn't think that somebody is sitting there. So if I do the same, what I'm going to try and do, okay, I'm going to try and, okay, my elbow is now on that switch. And I'm going to put my hand over the sensor so it thinks that somebody is sitting there. With my elbow, I'm going to press the bidet switch. See what happens. Oh, there we go. Oh, shut it. Oh, Ben. Anyway, you saw what happened. This camera is not waterproof. Oh, that moved. If this camera was waterproof, I wouldn't have moved the camera, but for obvious reasons. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? So I don't I suspect that not every single, loo in Japan is like this. But this is, look, I got water all over the floor here. And the camera. Oh well. Anyway, so now you know. And I gotta clean this camera. Just a final thought for any of you that are remotely interested for whatever reason. The water that was sprayed out is warm. So, I'm not going to ask why, but some of you might actually prefer that. Now, here's another type of loo. Now the seat's down because what you can see there is the same as any other loo. And this one does not have a flush handle on either side. Remember the other one had a push and a pull for the different full flush or half flush or whatever. This one doesn't have that. But what it does have, it has this kind of like little sink thing at the top with a tap here. But there's no way of, like if I put my hand under it, there's no water coming out. So if I wanted to rinse my hands, I can't do it. It works by sensor, of course, right? Like if one is sitting down there and then does one's thing, then it flushes and some water will then come out of there, but there's no control of it. So I don't actually like that. Besides that, it's kind of the same as loo paper there. The control panel's there. This one, I think the bidet is not working. But anyway, so they're not all the same. Now, here's a different type of loo that incorporates a few things that we've seen previously. Now, first thing, well, it's different things. First thing I noticed actually is that the control panel is on as you sit on it, on the right hand side. Same sort of thing that was on the wall, it's just on the right hand side. Sometimes it's on the left, but I guess that doesn't matter. And it's just a regular control panel, except this one's all in Japanese. I think this one here is heating the seat, because the seat can be heated. But everything else looks, that's the bidet, that's for your bottom. Yeah, how about that? And this one, you've got the flush there, right? The last one didn't have the flush on the side, everything was automatic. And this one, the flush is on the side. Again, both directions, depending, full flush, half flush. And this one's got type of sink. The last one had a sink, it's a little bigger than this one. And the one before that didn't have any sort of sink, but this one's got a little sink. But as you can see, put your hand under it and the water doesn't come out. And I'm guessing that what has to happen. Okay, let's do a.
You hit flash. Oh.
Right. Let's pretend I'm sitting on it now. So, actually, that's not going to do any good because, okay, there's the sensor, right? You can see the sensor there. So if I put my hand on it, well, let's see what happens. I might have to make a sudden dash backwards here. So I'll put my hand over the sensor. So from the sensor's point of view, that's just skin, right? So if I remove my hand from the sensor, nothing. Why nothing? What does it know the difference between a finger and a bottom?
Do you want to sit on it?
Okay, I'm gonna sit on it, pretend that.
Hold on.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Now you're. Oh, the seat's warm. I mean, you can change the. What? You can change the temperature actually of the seat, but it's warm anyway. So here I am. There's a newspaper, reading the newspaper. Liverpool 2, Everton 0 last night. Lord above. Okay, now, done my thing. Right, did it? Nothing. How is that possible? Does it know this is like a recording and it's not the real thing?
Okay. I'm not going to show that I'm going.
Why doesn't that work?
I actually need the loo so I can do it, but just don't film me. I need the loo. Subscribers,
see,
here you go.
now you got the water. That's what I wanted to show you. The water. See, the water comes out of this tap. After when it's flushing, right? So from its point of view, it thinks, okay, you've done your thing. It flushes the loo, it runs the water, you can rinse your hands off. Not that your hands have been anywhere, I suppose. If you've used the rear spray or the bidet sort of thing. This loo roll, this is not. Some people think that these loos are this way to save loo paper, but that's actually not entirely true, actually, because they all come with loo paper anyway, so you can kind of do things that way if you want. But anyway, it's still running, and Feast wants to use this. I'm off. Now, I also have to say that sometimes I'm not sure if these things are working properly. Like this particular one, after you've done your thing and you stand up, it doesn't flush automatically. Now I'm not sure if that's just the way it's supposed to be, or for some reason it's that part of it is not working, because then that requires, you know, one to just flush it oneself, which isn't a big deal. But of course, if that wasn't there and then it didn't flush automatically when it was supposed to, then that wouldn't be so good. Okay, and the other thing, squat toilets, like you see in some countries, they do have them in Japan actually, and yesterday was the first time I saw one, and that was the first time in 2.5 weeks, and that was in a public loo, just sort of, you know, on the street. So those do exist, and maybe there's not so many as there used to be, but we certainly haven't seen any in any sort of accommodation at all. So maybe they're on their way out. Maybe, who knows? And the other thing, Feast was asking me, have we seen anything like this in a Western country? And the only thing, I mean, there must be plenty somewhere, I suppose. The only place we both remember seeing something like this was in the Shard, in London, just off between London and Tower Bridges, on the south side of the river. They have some restaurants if you sort of go up a little bit, and you know, I can't actually remember. You know, Feasts remember this stuff better than I do, and so I can't remember if it was exactly like this, but she was saying something. So, but there's, you know, there's going to be other places with things like that, of course. You know, I mean, throughout the world, I would think, which makes me wonder, like, if, you know, can somebody do, you know, put one of these in their own home? I guess the answer must be yes. As you can see, it's a little different. Like, even if you had this part, normally you just have this sort of plumbing bit under it, right? But this requires some electrics. And so this particular one, you see, this is some sort of plugged, and that goes up there, and it's just probably some sort of wiring, I suppose. But this bit here, I'm not sure what this does. So I guess, you know, they're all going to be a little bit different. So it's not going to be, you know, just standard plumbing. There's going to be a bit of electric as well. So you'd have to sort of sort that out. And say with this one, when one stands up, it didn't flush automatically. So then one just does doing that, and then you see the water come out there, so to, you know, to rinse your hands off with it. And that's cold water. So I don't know if there's a way of adjusting that. And then I couldn't see a way of actually controlling this. It just came on anyway. Like let's say you didn't use the loo and you just wanted to rinse your hands, and you came up to that and tried to get it to come on. There didn't seem to be a way of doing it, except for actually, you know, flushing the whole loo. But anyway, this is such an interesting topic, isn't it? Anyway, so if anyone does know of a public building anywhere outside of Japan that has this sort of loo, please stick it in the comments below. Can I get out of here? Oh yeah. Anyway, bye. And I think probably finally, look at the loo. What does that mean? We're back in the UK or the US or somewhere else.
Easy Hotel?
Easy Hotel. But here we go. Some instructions there. Some instructions there. We're still in Japan, and it's like from our point of view, it's a regular loo. It doesn't have all the stuff. That's the first time we've seen that, actually. This must be a real cheapskate hotel.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they don't say this is the first time in 2.5 weeks. So, but I guess they don't all come, you know, the fancy way.
Well, one more. Check this fella out. Normal loo and everything. Da da da. Except it doesn't have the flush thing, right? And it doesn't have the, I don't know what you want to call it, the bowl thing that sits on top with whatever it is. But here, we've got the sink separate, which personally I prefer because sometimes you have that sink and you don't actually control the water flow. But this one, of course, one does. However, I have a logistical problem here because I've just done my thing and it hasn't flushed. And I can't figure out how to flush it because, as you can see, it's all in Japanese, including the control panel on the wall. Now, some of it has got like a little picture, so I kind of can figure it out. But not sure what to do here. I don't want to lift it up. Yeah, so I don't know how to flush this. It didn't do it by automatically. You know, it's probably one of these buttons, but I could end up doing the wrong thing. Yes. So anyway, but this is yet another example of a different Japanese loo.